I'm Chaparro. I'm a printmaker from Portland, Oregon. I currently live and work in Takamatsu City, Japan. So this is Recollection. Recollection is an installation of rocks that have been collected in my travels and journeys across Japan, but also those of my friends. So these rocks are constructed out of paper. So every rock has a corresponding real rock and a paper rock. And the thought behind it is every single rock functions as a memory, not only my memory, but our collective memories. So when I see a rock, I can think back to the date, the weather, the time, that moment in my mind, and recollect what it felt like, not just that this is a rock from this location. Every one of them carries meaning and significance that's not only my own, but also those who have sourced them for me, who have participated in their creation. And together, it's not just my memories, it's our collective memory. This project was made possible by the Takamatsu City Young Artist Grants. From the very beginning, I knew that I wanted to suspend stones. And through the process, I came to realize that every one of these stones had a memory. Every one of these stones, I could recollect where it was from or details about the day, the weather, just by looking at it rather than using a system. So through that, it became about recollection, about what I could remember and what others had also given to the recollection. My first art experience that I can recollect is I had a sticker pack when I was a young child, and I started reproducing a sticker that was about this size of a fire truck onto a large sheet of newsprint. And I remember my parents being amazed that I was able to just recreate it. I think that's my earliest. That was the start. Why rocks? Because rocks are everywhere. And I realized that because they were everywhere, I wasn't thinking about them. And to realize that they predate me, they have more knowledge than I do in a sense. They're my senior. They're older than most anybody I know. They all have a story and they're commonly overlooked every day. I walk past rocks. We live on a big rock. The first time I ever made a rock project like this was for my final in printmaking. At that time I was studying Japanese art and aesthetics, so I was learning a lot about wabi-sabi aesthetics, and coincidentally we were learning about rock gardens. And ryoanji was the first time I really came across ryoanji, but we had to make an installation. And after thinking about it, I realized that I wanted a reason to dump a lot of sand in our school's art building. So I decided I would make a rock garden, and just after looking for different methods, I came across a lot of the software and a lot of the methodology that I now use, which is 3D scanning and simplifying rocks. I mean, even before moving to Japan, right? I remember learning about Japan when I was in 2nd grade. So even then, I suppose it had an influence on my life. And as an artist, I guess it began more as a person. I knew that I wanted to study the language when given the opportunity. So when I started college, I studied the language, and it eventually led to studying calligraphy, studying art and aesthetics, and clearly, right, that has informed my practice. It began with rock gardens, and it's kind of branched off to being whatever the next project is that I want to do with rocks. What's the next big idea? What's the next thing I want to try? Right, so it began there. Began influenced by Japanese art and aesthetics, and it obviously still continues, right? The idea of simplifying, the idea of saying more with less, which is like this, right? The memory remains the same even though the rock has become simplified. And I guess in that way it's influenced and continues to influence me as an artist. In a more literal sense, Japan is influencing my career because I'm here, and this is my first solo exhibition, and I've had another group exhibition post-graduation. So it is literally changing the trajectory of my career. The reason I'm still in Japan is because I had this opportunity. So I'm using the same aesthetics, the same teachings, the same ideas that I've learned about, and I'm employing in my art to connect with the people of Japan. Right now, my plan is to continue teaching art here in Japan. All the meanwhile, I will continue to search out new art opportunities while preparing for grad school, which is the greater plan in the future.